to speak about what these 4 steps that you to create a business. I can do that too, because indeed I think I need more getting more into people's face, so to speak. I do a lot of marketing and this, but that doesn't pay off because my follow up system, so to speak, is kind of a bit shaky. And I do go to some appointments. Most of them, when I meet with buyers, I do sign agreements. But somehow, what happened lately, they kind of disappeared, not from me, probably from the market for some reasons. And I
All
don't
right,
follow up again.
so we can be succinct. There's a lot of things there to talk about. First of
I
all,
know.
I want you to be. I'm going to ask you the question: What would you like to work on today so everyone can benefit? Here's the other thing I want you. You mentioned marketing. People that have a lot of money will spend money on marketing, thinking it will help them avoid talking to people. Well, you won't have to go out and talk to a lot of people. You can bring people to you, but when you bring people to you, guess what you have to do? Talk
Talk.
to people. So if you got a lot of money, you don't have to lead generate. You can hire that out, or you can say, look, come talk to me about your real estate needs. I'll give you $500. You can buy conversations, but you still have to be credible. So, Ellie, what's your question? What do you want to work on today that will benefit you and everybody else on this call?
Okay, let's do this to how to reach more people. Talk with people, not to reach. Talk with people. The initial conversation that will convert them into.
All right. So this is going to be fast. There's probably, if you had I'm talking to everybody now.
Yeah.
You should have a daily goal of talking to people. I don't know who to call. Listen, if you live in Florida and particularly, between January and Easter, if you stop at a red light, there's probably 200 people right at the red light. You go into Target, there's 200 people. There's people everywhere. If your life depended, meaning you'd lose your right hand if you didn't have 10 conversations in a day, could you find 10 people? Ask
Yes.
a simple question. Have your name badge on, and say, who do you know that might be wanting to buy or sell real estate? Or get this, I have a new listing. I have a new buyer. This is a super young couple. He's a veteran. They're looking for a home. I can't find him anything. Do you know anyone that wants to sell a home in this neighborhood? So you're going to have to listen. If you're not finding people to talk to, that means you're not finding sand on the sidewalk. It's there. Matt?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's depending on your market area. I want to keep this very truncated. There are far more people than you don't know than you do. So you can work your sphere if you'd like until you're blue in the face. However, I've always found value in the fact that literally everybody is in real estate. Literally everybody. They're either buying, selling, renting, or investing. So everybody you speak to is going to have some type of real estate need in some capacity. Depending on your market, somebody that I mentor said we don't have a lot of expireds and cancels in our area. I said right now, like we don't have a lot of expireds and cancels to go after right now, right? Because the market is good here or whatever in their area. Okay, well, have properties expired over the past 100 years? Great. Go back and find the expireds and canceleds from a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So those are some of the best leads right there because they're not getting the hell beat out of them by other realtors right now.
But Matt, I like for exercise. I'm in Florida. You're in Florida.
Yeah.
We have a home in Alaska, and I'm jealous every time it snows that I'm not there to shovel it. I love shoveling snow. However, if it doesn't snow in Florida, are there other alternatives, Matt, for me to get exercise?
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
you don't have expireds and buy owners, there's still people that do real estate, right?
Right. Exactly. Well, that's the point. Like I circle prospect as well. I mean, you've got neighborhoods, you've got neighbors, right? There are mediums wherever you look, there's a medium. So I'm a little speechless when I even talk about this because there are ways to generate business ad infinitum. Now, I've always said though, there are 2 types of real estate practices. You have your prospecting based, marketing enhanced, and you have marketing based, prospecting enhanced. You have to have money to be able to market. So don't delude yourself into thinking, I'll just spend money and I'll make money. No, the marketing-based prospecting enhanced businesses take a long time to get off the runway. It's like a 747 jet, and you might never get there. I am always an advocate of starting out, or if you're in a place of scarcity, prospecting-based, marketing enhanced. That's all I have to say about that.
All right. So, Ellie, this is technically answer. Maybe we'll get around to the conversation that if you're talking to buyers and all of a sudden the buyers are gone, that's like you go out on a date. You know me, I'm trying to make silly analogies, right? You go on a first date, you think it went really well, and you go to the second date and they don't show up. What happened? I would look in the mirror, Susan.
Thank you.
I literally, I mean, what Matt say is like, I mean, we heard it from Gary Keller, but it's a repeat, it's profound, short. I built my business around prospecting, basically expires. And yes, there are some expires that are like during the pandemic, there's hardly any expires. But now I'm doing something called the NODs. And I actually partnered with another lady. She was working for a bank, and that's all she did. She was out in the NODs, and she's giving me a lot more insights about that in having a
What
conversation.
does that stand for?
Notice of default.
Notice of default, foreclosures.
Thank you.
But what I would hope here to get more out of is a lot more outbound calls. Because if any of us are phone heavy, I believe Matt can speak to that. That's the reason why we have to have that directive personality. And I'm hoping to get more of outbound calls and scripts if we can do that.
So Matt is the call master. Maybe someday you'll ask me a question, but Matt, all right, so NODs. How would you handle outbound calls for NODs?
So I do have a script that I use.
Now, hang on. I want to hear. Hang on to your script just for a second. Let Matt share how he would do it. Then we can hear yours.
Yeah. So notice of defaults. That's it for anybody on here who has not run into these. A notice of default is somebody that has received a 30-day late notice that they're no longer current on their mortgage. Some servicers act faster than others, but most will notify you 30 days after your first, after 30 days of you being delinquent. Those conversations, guys, tend to be very sensitive, and it's not an area where I have a few coaching clients that I work with that like them, and I like them too. The issue with those tends to be you have to practice a ton of compassion with them. And while I'm a compassionate person, I don't like tiptoeing and walking on eggshells. I like to get right to the point when I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm here to solve problems. And you can't necessarily do that very expeditiously with a notice of default. So I just wanted to preface that. But when I do call them, or when I call them as an expired listing or what have you, because notice of defaults are expired. Notice of defaults do cancel. They don't work out with other realtors. The conversation is something like this. And if I know that they're in default, hey, this is Matthew Keller Williams. I was looking for the owner of a property over here on Main Street. They say, yeah. And I say, well, what I've said before is, it seems like I do the Chris Voss, seems like, sounds like, looks like. Because what I don't want to say is, I appreciate your patience while I think out loud here. What you don't want to say is, hey, I noticed you're in default on your property. You want to say seems like, sounds like, looks like. That way, if they say, well, no, that's not it. Okay, well, I said it. It looked like on this that you were.
So
So,
you don't
hey,
start by saying it looks like you're a deadbeat.
yeah, look, hey, look, you're a deadbeat. You're not paying your mortgage. I say, hey, it looks like your property showed up on a list of um, property owners that were not current on their mortgage or were potentially in default. Am I reading that wrong? And they'll say, no, we've been doing this, that, or the other, and sometimes they're a bit abrasive. Again, it takes a lot of compassion with these types of people. That's why I don't do them a lot, because it takes more mental bandwidth than it's really worth in most cases. And most of the time, guys, they're trying to work it out with their servicer. So their first, if the newer they are, appreciate you giving me the space to explain this. The newer they are, the less likely they are to be ready to sell, because they think they've got 10 miles of runway before the bank's going to take their house. So the newer they are, yeah, we're working on that. We're working on that. So then the next step,
Let's role play one. Call me.
Sure. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, I was looking for Denny, the owner of a property on Main Street.
I'm Denny. This is my home. Who's this?
This is Matthew with Keller Williams. We haven't spoken before. Hey, can I run something by you real quick before you tell me to go fist fight the wind?
I'm in a hurry, but what do you got?
All right, just need 20 seconds. It looks like your property showed up on a list of properties or property owners that weren't current on their mortgage. Am I reading that wrong?
I don't know that's to be the case, but this is a little concerning that you would know this maybe even before I do. Where did you get that information?
Well, so good question. I get a list of properties that are 30 days late or more every single month. And right now it looks like you may be on that list. Has your mortgage company reached out to you at all?
So I'm going to pause. So you can make some notes. Susan will come to you in a little bit, and you can say what you're doing. But notice how comfortable he is in the bull ride section. I'm wondering. Okay, I'm starting to do what you guys are doing on the call, thinking, okay, if I were to take a shot of Fireball and get up the nerve to call somebody like this, what would I say in that situation? And I'm wondering, Matt. Okay, and I don't know. Number one, let me ask this question. Is this a subscription list? Can agents actually buy these lists?
Yeah, they can get, so you can get them from I believe it was one of my guys. It doesn't matter.
Susan, you buy your list, Susan?
No, I get it from my title.
Yeah,
Okay.
Attorneys can provide them that work in that space. You can also get them from some like Mojo, Red X, Vulcan 7. Some of those companies offer them.
So in that point of the conversation, I'm thinking how I would handle it. And again, I don't make outbound calls, so I'm deferring to you as the master in this. But I am good at conversations and saying, I call this list because many times they're inaccurate, and I'm doing a service for people to know that your name is on a list. You might be getting other calls. So,
Right.
hey, if you're having some trouble, I can help you. If not, I'm just giving you a warning. I mean, is that kind of the Trojan? Is that like being chicken, right? Calling a for sale by owner and saying I may have a buyer, or would that
No,
be?
no, because you actually, your scenario that you were role playing with me was actually fairly realistic. Sometimes they don't even know. And so then what I do is I kind of switch it. Well, Denny, let's say that this list is accurate. Would where and I should frame this, guys, for the people that don't do this. Assuming the list is accurate, Denny's behind on his mortgage. So what I'm going to do next, that's where the empathy and compassion kicks in. Okay, so Denny, assuming that there is any validity to this list, what are your plans with your situation moving forward from here?
I didn't. My wife takes care of the bills. First time I'm hearing about it, so I don't even know what to tell you right now. Whatever your name, Millie, or what's your name, Matt, Mill, whatever.
Just not late for lunch, whatever you want to call me. Okay, so we need to. Can I make a friendly recommendation to you?
Sure, then I got to go.
Okay. Since your wife pays the bills, Denny, I would strongly urge two things. One, have a conversation with her because it looks like if you are paying it, the bank's not getting your money, at least right now. And then number two, after you speak with your wife, I'd highly recommend if keeping this home is important to you, you get on the phone with your bank and find out what is going on. Because again, they may not be getting your payment. And from there, I know you got to run. Would you hate me if I gave you a call back to make sure you got this squared away?
So then you're closing for the follow-up. Susan, what's your conversation? Then we'll go on to the next one.
So a lot of the NOD, a lot of the notice of default folks are in denial.
Mhm.
They think they have all the time in the world to save
Yeah,
themselves.
not the river either. Not the river of the Nile.
The Nile. Oh, yeah, that's a song. And by the way, that's the most crowded state in the nation, too, the state of
Denial. Yep. Yeah.
So anyway,
and
yeah, so they're in denial. All right. So what is let me hear your bull right.
So my opening would be like, hi Matt, this is Susan. I know this is an unexpected call. I work with homeowners who may have a change in their mortgage situation. I'm calling because there are options out there. Has anyone walked you through those options?
And how is that working?
Some of them, they respond, nope, everything is fine. It's taken care of. Then I ask them, how is that? How is that taken care of?
So let me just be the coach here a moment. Now, again, I it was a little harder hearing yours. That's one, but that's maybe my ears. Two, clearly it sounds like you're reading and not really feeling. So, Matt, just one more time, go back to your opening. Ring, ring, hello, go.
hey, this is Matthew. Well, I'm sorry. I was looking for the owner of a property over here on Main Street.
Yeah, I'm Denny. I own a home. Who is this?
This is Matthew with Keller Williams. We haven't spoken before. Can I share with you why I called, and then you can decide if we need to talk?
So, all right. So, Susan, you don't have that pattern interrupt in there. So it happened so fast. I was trying to listen to you, and almost like I couldn't catch up.
So I just started the NOD recently, and I haven't been really practicing my script a whole lot, but I have used and called these folks, and I went on an appointment. Usually these people know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but here, I don't need you to be defensive about it. I'm only giving you feedback. I'm sure.
No, I understand that.
I'm giving you feedback that it's not hitting me the same, the tone or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else in the chat can pipe in because this is just my perspective. Matt's buying a vowel, getting to 20 seconds, and maybe it's just his volume, and maybe I just didn't hear you well enough. Does anybody else have ears, can share?
So if I may give Susan some feedback on the NOD script, I'm not even going to call it your script. The script that you're using implies that they're deadbeats because it's saying you're on this list. Would you like to know there are options on how to unscrew yourself? And remember what you even said. They're in denial or they're on the defensive. So I like to make it like the way I approach this elephant in the room is as if it is wrong. I like to make it, I like to approach it from my list. This list that you're on is probably wrong.
Right.
And let them correct you. Right. So that's like Susan, I'm gonna not let's switch from NOD real quick. When I call expireds and canceled listings, a lot of the times I'll do this. Hey Susan, I you don't know me from Adam. I noticed your property came off the market. I'm betting that you're going to tell me that you've completely given up on the project of selling and you're going to keep the house until it turns to dust. Am I on the right track? And then it gives them permission to say, no, we are going to sell this. That's the way I approach the notice of defaults. hey, Susan, I've got this list of properties that and I don't even like to say property owners because it implies that they don't pay, hey, you don't pay your bills, dummy. I've got a list of properties where it looks, and yours is on here, and it looks like that there may be a little bit of distress, so they're not current on their mortgage. It is, am I reading this wrong? And
So
then
what I get out of this, we'll go on into the other something else, is that when you call them on an NOD, which is I've learned something today, is that you can come from contribution. Number one is that, hey, this is on a list. These lists are often wrong, so other people may call you. So number one, you may not have a problem, but other people are going to think you do. They may be calling you. I'm just giving you the heads up. Matt said something I didn't think about. He said, next, I've had it happen before where people were making the mortgage payment and the bank wasn't receiving it. And, there's all kinds of crap going on. You may want to double check that. Just assume they're up to date. And third, there's some people that are maybe struggling a little bit and would like to learn their options. So there's 3 reasons why you're coming from contribution, but never putting them in the deadbeat category.
Yep, exactly. And always assume, I always like to go in under the assumption that the information I have is incorrect, because here's the reality. We're getting them from third parties. It's possible it could be incorrect. And here's why I say that. Matthew, and Denny knows this, a few other people know this, I've been a victim of identity theft for the past about 3 weeks now. I'm living as a caveman right now. I have money, a fair amount of it, but I'm locked out of every single one of my accounts. So right now I'm just coasting and gathering all the notices that I'm not paying bills. And as soon as my accounts get turned back on in a week or so, I've got to start paying them. So somebody like me right now could be potentially on one of these lists, and you're going to call me.
Well, one of the signs, and we'll go on, raise your digital hand. We'll go on to another question. One of the signs you can tell you're in a declining market is when someone steals your identity, and then when you get into the facts and figures of your identity, they return it. So,
yeah, we don't want this guy.
So who's got a question? Come on, the 4 steps. Are you talking to people? Are you setting appointments? Are you getting the listing, seller or buyer? Are you getting it sold? Okay, Muhammad, of course. What's up? Hey, are you in a place where you can have your camera on, by the way?
Nope, I'm making wudu and I'm wearing a tank top. So, hey, so I have 2 questions. One, I have a listing appointment that I'm praying. I mean, 1 good news and then 2 questions. I have a listing appointment, so I'm hoping that it goes well today. Now my question is, I have an expire list, cold calling list.
No. We're going to help you. All right. We're going to work on your money now. All right. So who would like to role play with Muhammad as the seller and give him some practice on a listing appointment? All right, Michelle. All right. So Muhammad, what's the general price range? Is it a homeowner? They live there? Give Michelle the scenario.
They live there. They speak Arabic and English.
Michelle, you can do Arabic, please.
No.
Don't worry. We'll go with English. She's good at English. I mean, I can do both.
And why are they selling?
She wants to move according to the person who connected to her with me. But the issue is I haven't been 100% able to talk to the lady. All she wanted to do was to set out the appointment for me to go meet her today, where we can go over it and if she's a good fit or not.
So we're going to break this down for everyone. So we're not going to spend an hour on this. I want to know how you start the presentation. Matt and I'll give you some feedback, and then we'll go into the second part of it. All right. This is the most important thing you could be doing today.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go. You're at the table. You walk in the door. All right. Where do you start, Muhammad?
So first, I was going to ask her to if I could.
Whoa. This is role play. Don't tell me what you're going to do. Talk to Michelle.
Okay. Hi, Michelle. Thank you for taking your time to meet with me today. Um, First, I would like to take a tour of the house, and then we can have a seat and talk over what's how we can move forward, our best foot forward.
Okay, you've done that. Now
Okay.
you're back at the table. Now what?
Okay. So Michelle, based off everything I've seen, how quickly would you like to be? What is your plan on moving out of this house?
I would like to be out of this home and in my next home within 60 days.
Oh, next home. Okay. Are you staying locally or are you relocating out of state?
I'm actually relocating out of state.
Oh, that's wonderful. Wonderful. Um, Michelle, if you don't mind me asking, there seems like there's some improvement that this house need in the kitchen wise. There's kitchen missing.
Let me
Is
ask you a
there,
question, please. You just
yes.
took a tour of the home. What's the best use of your time when you're touring the home?
Oh, ask them why that's not there.
Well, first of all, can you talk to them? Don't talk about their bowling trophies or the big fish on the wall. Oh, by the way, you're selling. Where are you going next? You could be double dipping your time talking about their motivation, um, and if there are some things, or maybe if you want to ask about improvements or whatever, be careful it doesn't turn into a 3-hour tour. However, that's one of the most important things you can do if you're going to take a tour of the home with them tagging along. If you don't take control of it, they're going to want to point out every linen closet in the home. So that's number one. So now you understand their motivation. So now we're talking about how do you begin your presentation? You mentioned something about kitchen improvements. Where do you go from there?
Uh,
What'd you do?
then
Change your
you said
shirt?
something, but I lost you.
Where do
No,
you
no, no.
go
I
from
was
that
putting, I
point?
was
Yeah,
putting my
all right, you're a
shirt
handsome guy. Where do you go from that point?
on. Ooh, yeah, that's a
But,
tough one. I haven't started listing yet.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you where I go. Matt can share. Okay, so thanks for having me over. I appreciate the tour of the home. All right, so Michelle, what would you like to see happen here in this meeting today?
I would like for you to tell me how I can get my home sold, preferably within like 45 days, because I want to be in my next house within 60 days.
Okay, and so if we're going to go through that, and if you like what you hear, would you be prepared to move forward with me today after we have that conversation?
Yes, I would be. At this point, it is taking a toll on me, so I'm interested in moving forward.
So from my vantage point, without making this too long, when I go into a listing appointment from a presentation standpoint, I don't have a presentation. I have, I'll use Matt's term, a gun. I got to choose which bullets to put in it, and they're going to help me identify which bullets go into the gun. What do you want to accomplish? What questions do you have? How can I help you? And if you like what you hear, are you ready to move forward? Now, we haven't got into pricing yet, but that's how I start, Matt.
Yeah. So are we, if I understand correctly, we're just discussing kind of what a listing appointment looks like. Is that right?
Well, this is practice for the one coming up.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is, guys, I mean, like my listing appointment is this page right here. It's all, well, you don't need to see the points, but that's literally it. Those points right there, if you're looking at the screen, that is all we talk about. And frankly, I talk about, and it's not all we talk about. I only talk about what I need to talk about on this. So I set the stage, which Denny knows about that. One of three things is going to happen. The old Heller.
Yeah, I get that. And I'm sorry to keep interrupt you.
Yeah.
There is that the three things, but Mohammed, you're not going to be able to do that today. I
Right.
don't
So
know
you're
if you do it, have it internalized and deliver it.
right. No. Yeah. So today, Mohammed, what you need to focus on is going in. Can you give me the grand tour? Right. Just give me the grand tour real quick. Right. So you get the tour of the house. Awesome. Where can we sit? And not at a couch, baby, because I know most people are going to sit you down on the couch and they're gonna talk like old friends. No, we need to sit at a table. Where is there? And if they try to get you to the couch, where is there a table we can sit at? Okay. then you're going to very simply say, well, but before I pull out my top hat and my cane and I start my dance, what questions can I answer for you about selling?
That's the most important thing you guys can do, is find out where they want to start. Don't start reading the book at contents.
Yep, that's it. And from there, that's going to determine where you go. What questions can I answer for you about selling? Okay, and you can do a variation of it, like Denny said. Well, what are you hoping to see happen at this meeting today? Right, and then you could do a soft close. Okay, assuming that we go over that and it makes sense, would you be ready to put me to work if everything was in order? Okay, and then the last thing you're going to do, Muhammad, is once you answer their questions, what questions do you have about selling? Okay, the next thing you're going to do is, today, what is most important to me is to know what 2 to 3 things do you need to know from a realtor to know they're the right person to help you. That again will give you your talking points.
Well, you would. All right, so I'm going to get clarity on what you said. So if I say, hey, look, if you like what you hear, are you ready to move forward? If they say yes to that, that question seems a little bit redundant.
What, the 2 to 3 things?
Well, if they've already said if they like what they hear from me, unless you're looking for the bullets, they're asking for the bullets. But I've already asked her, if you like what you hear, then she's ready to move forward with me. Okay. So you're asking what she wants in a real estate agent, probably own. So to make sure when I'm going through this conversation, I'm hitting those points.
Right. That's so the reason why I do that, Denny, is because too many realtors go through their listing presentation or whatever it is, their consult. They get to the end and they still have objections. So even if they said, yeah, I would hire you if I like what I have to hear, great. Well, so before I go any further though, what I need to know from you when you're choosing to make a hiring decision, what 2 to 3 things do you need to know from that realtor to know they're the right person to help you?
Or want to hear from that realtor to make sure that they're the right one. So I'm tracking with you.
Yep, exactly. And then that is how at the end, when you get to the end and they still say, well, I want to think I got to do that. You go, well, hold on. When we spoke earlier, what I heard you say is these were the 3 things you needed to know. Do you feel that I covered them? Okay, so what else are we missing?
So can I ask you, Matt, when you go through the listing presentation, you already know their motivation before sitting down with them and present.
Mm-hmm.
So by you asking that again, isn't it redundant?
No, it is not. I know what's influencing them to sell. I don't know what they're looking for in a realtor.
Okay.
I know why. See that, and that's where. See, I'm glad you asked, because a lot of realtors get that confused. A lot of and I say this with love. A lot of stupid realtors think that knowing the motivation of their sellers is the only thing they need to do to get them to do business with them, and it's the dumbest thing in the world. Because hear me out. I need to sell my house because I need to move closer to my brother, Denny, in Naples, because we have a business we run together and it's too far away. I need to sell my house to get close to Denny. Where in there did I say I want to hire Susan to do it?
So, Mohammed, does that help you?
Yes, yes, that actually is a better clarification. Now my heart is at peace.
I got
But
it.
I was earlier.
Bottom line is we don't want you going in there and spewing information. Just talk. One of my agents had her first listing appointment yesterday. First one, and I went over the CMA and how to handle that. She recorded me, she studied it, and we were anticipating the seller. And this is the big difference when you start asking questions based on how I looked at the market and what I anticipated the seller wanted. We thought they would want 475, maybe just under. Everything had a 4 in front of it, but homes similar sold in the upper 4s. And so by her asking questions, she said, I got the listing. I said, well, what'd you list it at? 439. How about that? I said, well, how did you get that number? That's what they wanted to start with. How about that? All right,
Yep.
digital hand, please. Digital hand. Thanks, Michelle, for your help.
Yep. And hopefully that makes sense, Susan. Knowing motive, and I wasn't calling anybody on here stupid. I'm referring to the agents that think that I know why they're doing it, therefore they should do it with me. Just because you know why somebody's doing something doesn't mean that you're the person they want to do it with. So ask them, what 2 to 3 things do you need to know from a realtor? I don't even use myself when I say it. How I do my Sharpie close is this. What's most important to me today is when you're choosing to hire a realtor to help you sell your home, what 2 to 3 things do you need to know from that person to know that they're the right person to help you? Then they tell me, and I say, okay, just so I understand, if you feel that I can meet or exceed all these expectations, there wouldn't be anything preventing us from getting started, right? They say no. Great. Now we go.
So if they find out they're interviewing other agents, what's the next question? Oh, great. So what criteria are you going to use? The same.
Right.
So what are you looking for? If you're going to buy a car, what do you want in a car?
Yep.
Trisha, how can we
My
help you
heart's
today?
racing to actually get off of mute and raising my hands because I've been on your morning calls for a while and I haven't spoken yet. Similar to the last person that spoke about the listing appointment, I'm actually going on my first luxury listing appointment. It came by way of a referral from another agent from outside the area. I did discover that they did already interview one agent. They want to do another they want to interview somebody else because they didn't like that one. I was able to discover why they didn't like that agent. Well, they evidently wanted to list at 2.2 and they don't like that. I'm like, aside from price, was there anything else about that agent they didn't like? Well, they just didn't get good vibes from her. Okay, so good. Going into it then, I'm about to schedule the appointment with the husband and wife. They're moving from my area to retire, moving to Florida. They already have the home in Florida, but they are hung up on the price. I
Where
think
are
the
they
price.
moving? Where in Florida are they moving?
Sarasota.
There you go, Matt. How about that?
Hi. Nice to meet
They
you.
are. Yep.
Anyway,
Nice.
so, all right, ready? You ready? Matt and
I
I.
am.
Oh, well, actually, before you go, Trisha, can I
No,
say,
we're
can
going
I,
to role play. We're
yeah,
going to
but
role.
let me say one thing. And I say this, and I don't think Denny will disagree with me. Trisha, what I heard you say is that you got a luxury referral, right?
Yeah, but we're going there. We're going there, Matt.
Okay. All right. Then, all right. I'm going to let you go then.
We're sharing a molecule. All right, we're at the table. All right, Matt is my brother. We're selling our parents' home who passed away, and the pug they had for 15 years. So let me ask you, Tricia, as you know, we've already talked. We're going to be interviewing another agent. We didn't like the first one. So we have some questions for you. Is that all right?
Absolutely. That's what I'm here for.
All right. So, are you a luxury agent?
What do you mean by am I a luxury agent?
Well, I've learned that you guys use luxury. If you have a home that's priced under $1 million, you're sticky people, and if you have it over $1 million, you're considered a luxury agent. So, give me your experience in the $1 million plus properties, please.
Perfect. Yes, your home definitely would meet that category, and definitely spent a lot of time in the luxury market as well. Anything else?
What you talking about, Willis? Brother, did you get an answer there?
I don't think I understand what you spent time in the luxury market.
I do have experience in the luxury market. Yes.
Would you have a flat
Is
tire in
there
our
anything
neighborhood, or did you have a flat tire in our neighborhood? What kind of experience did you have?
I actually have. Uh, this is where I'm torn. I would be tempted. I myself, off the record, have not sold
I
a
know.
luxury listing yet. So
Yes.
I would go the route of
Okay.
my brokerage. We have, we've listed many luxury listings. We have plenty of experience with luxury.
Well, if you know you're going to get the question, what we want to do is not have you stumble now. If you're going to stumble,
Mhm.
stumble here. Don't stumble there.
Right. Hmm.
That's going to come. So the we thing works out. So you know the neighborhood.
Yes, I actually live down the road.
Got it. So let me ask you, this is what I would do. Pricing, we got to get over this hurdle for you to even get into the pricing conversation, or we say
Yep.
positioning, right? So I would basically run a list of homes in the last 12 months, actives, pendings, and closed last 12 months. We have Stellar or Matrix or whatever, and then you could set up your one line display to show who were the listing agents on these homes, who were the sales agents. Find out if there's any consistency. Generally, there could be one agent that does a lot of the work there or whatever. One of the things you're going to discover is if there is a standard listing agent in your Tanglewood Bird Bath Estates, most likely they're not selling the homes. Look at the brokerage companies that are there. So when you say well, say, well, you're in the Tanglewood area. Yes, I work for Keller Williams, whatever company you're with. And and then maybe do some track record in the last 12 months. Our office, our team or whatever has sold 17 homes, anywhere from $1 million to $7 million.
Perfect.
And you have the stats. Once you have the numbers and deliver them, you say, well, we all work together as a team. And yes, the other thing that's interesting is that most likely, if you look at the agents who or the sales agents, they were not the listing agents. So the question is, well, I live down the street. I represent a lot of buyers that are move-up buyers that are looking for this neighborhood. So my question is, do you want an agent that specializes in listing these homes or bringing buyers to them?
Bingo. I love it.
Matt?
I also asked then also decision makers, husband and wife. I found out that I asked disc profile, since the referring agent to me is friends of theirs. Disc profile, the wife is spot on, analytical, loves data, spreadsheets, etc. So I'm like, shoot, what do aside from a CMA, like, do I get into absorption? Why would I get into all that? But should I be prepared?
If you can't answer this question, well, you won't get to that.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and also redundancy. Also, how focused are they that they have a luxury listing?
I don't think they're that focused.
Okay.
Their focus is on the motivation of getting out. They've unfortunately, they've poured tons of money into the home. And so they feel like the ROI question is going to come up. They feel like their price needs to reflect the money they poured into it, which unfortunately they didn't need to do all that they did. And they've overspent on brand new kitchen, bath, etc. And
right.
I don't know how to have that conversation too, of like what, you're not going to, the things we wish we could say that we can't.
Well, you can say them. It's just that what you focus on expands. So the reason why I asked you how focused are they on the fact that they have a luxury listing is because if they don't bring it up, you don't have to. But since Denny and I brought it up in this role play, how you handle it's is going to be very integral. It's going to be an integral part of your appointment. So and here's how I would look at that. When they say, well, are you experienced in luxury real estate? I would ask, can you define experience for me? How do you quantify and qualify that? And then you're going to answer based on how they answer. So yes. And what, if you don't have a lot of experience yourself? Yeah. Well, the good news is my brokerage is one of the number one, is the number one or whatever, if you know your numbers, brokerage in the area for luxury real estate. But what is most important to you? Is it hiring an agent that lists luxury properties, or is it hiring an agent that procures the buyers for properties like yours?
Beautiful. Love it.
That's what I said.
I understand.
Unfortunately, I do tons of open houses for those luxury listing agents in my brokerage. I've got years of open houses with those buyers.
But let me stop you there though, because then what you're going to do is you're going to take that list that Denny has, and you're going to say, because here's the problem with hiring luxury listing agents, and you're going to go through the list and you're going to highlight. I was saying very quickly, these are all the luxury listers, and 90% of the time they did not sell the property. Somebody like me did.
And if the wife's analytical, she's going to love the fact you have a spreadsheet there.
Yep.
That's so actually let them see the spreadsheet, like
Yeah,
the
you're gonna show them because here's the thing: if they're gonna hire you, they're gonna hire you. If they're gonna hire that luxury lister, there's nothing you can do potentially to dissuade them or persuade them differently. But it's again what you focus on expands. Yeah, you can hire Mary Jo. She lists a lot of properties in here, but there's a big difference between listing and selling. Are you wanting me to list it or are you wanting to sell it?
Love
And
it.
we procure buyers that buy properties like yours. That's what we do.
Their decision is, would they rather have their listing agent also being proactive about trying to find the buyer, or the listing agent to put a sign in the yard hoping somebody else finds the buyer?
Right. 3 P's
Right.
of real estate.
Yeah, 3 Ps.
Three
So
Ps.
go ahead.
The 3 Ps.
The
What is
3
that?
Ps. So you're the seller right now. Trisha, have you ever heard of the 3 Ps of real estate?
Nope.
Okay, well,
I know the 5 Ds.
right. Well, the 90% of the money in this industry is earned by 10% of the realtors. Okay, the average realtor sells 1.66 homes per year. In 2025 alone, I'm saying this because you're meeting with a C. I know Denny's eyes already rolled into the back of his head. 71% of realtors in 2025 sold not one single solitary home. The reason being is most agents practice the 3 Ps of real estate. They put a sign in your yard if they can, they put it in the MLS, and they pray to God that it sells.
Gotcha. Yeah.
The reason that my brokerage procures buyers for properties like yours is because I practice the 4th P. Every single day I get up and I proactively prospect looking for buyers for my sellers and sellers for my buyers.
That's
So
beautiful.
are you looking for a listing agent to put a sign in the yard, or are you looking for somebody to help you get it sold?
I love it. Thank you
So
so
you're going
much.
to get past that. So now, really fast, this will be benefit to everyone. Because remember, I said the 4 conversations. You can get the listing, but if you can't get it sold, then you have to be able to have conversations with sellers, right? So now we can take 5 or 6 minutes and have the conversation. What you already know is they want 2 point. The one
2.2.
the other agent said 2 million, right?
The 2.2, and they
What do
think
they
that
what do
should
they
get
want?
even more.
What do they want?
They just think that they should get more.
Well, how much?
What do they want? You didn't ask. You don't know.
I haven't had that appointment yet.
That's a call before you go, my love.
Yes.
Well,
So-
yeah. Okay.
I've only spoken to the referring agent so far. I dug out of her as much as I could get.
Well,
Okay.
do you think the referring agent knows what they want?
No.
They
Okay.
seem to know a lot about them, so that might be something they know.
Right.
But anyway,
I can circle back around.
have you done any research on the property?
Yes. And
So if
the
you're
neighborhood.
well, hang on, just slow down. You're sitting with Matt and I on the listing presentation, and I want to hear how you deliver it. All right. So you've done the research on here, and so tell me, what do you think you can get for the home?
I think even more importantly than what I think I could get for the home is what are you hoping to get for the home?
Well, we have a number in mind, but that's why you're here. I want to know what your number is.
Great. Well, share with me what your number is.
You say if I show you mine, you'll show me yours?
I'd like to actually gain insight of where you are and let that be the starting point.
Okay, well, let's do it. You go first. We'll go second.
I never, to be honest, it's a rule of mine. I don't dictate the rate. I support you in your decision, but my best.
Let's step out real quick. All right. So, because we're going to get in this, excuse my crudeness. You may have not heard me a lot before. You get caught in this mental masturbation of back and forth, It's no, so
not good.
So it's okay. What Denny's doing is not uncommon. So how you're going to handle that is, well, Denny, I got some good news for you. Your number is not going to influence the number that's on this piece of paper. I'm going to try one time. Watch. Denny, your number is not going to influence the number on this, what the market says is on this piece of paper. So out outside of pricing, if we could agree to the initial positioning, do you feel that I'm the right person to help you thus far?
So it's a trial close. Now, again, I'm just going to say, well, we haven't asked you to leave yet.
Okay. So we're on the right path. Good. Now, Trisha, I'm going to give you the next line and then you're going to jump back in. All right. So based off of everything that I went over, and Denny, ultimately, it doesn't matter what you want as a seller, and it doesn't matter what I think as a realtor. The home is any home is only going to be worth what a buyer's ready, willing, and able to write a check for. It appears, however, the market recommended range is somewhere between here and here. What were you hoping to initially position at?
Okay.
So, all right. So now we're getting into you sharing that. I was pressing you, so I'm going to step out of role play a little bit. I was pressing you to see how you did it. So you did the research. Now I'm not in role play. What does your research show?
So my research shows, based on your specific neighborhood, what's closed in the last, 180 days, the last year, and
I get it.
depending
I
on
get it. Just the answer, please.
Okay, that's true, right? That's a big struggle for me. The research suggests 1.8 to 2.2. However, I know you've done some updates on your home and
Stop.
We're at a role play.
Okay.
I'm talking to you. I'm not in a role play with you. What does the research show?
1.8 to
straight up for me,
2.2.
not role play.
Not role play. What does your research show you?
Yeah. The reality is their particular neighborhood, they've evidently done a whole addition to their home because everything else, all the new builds.
Stop.
You're a C, aren't you? I found you. You're a C.
or you're an S, one or the other. So just the answer, 1.8 to 2.2.
Yes.
Okay. What do you think it should be listed at?
I have certain strategies and I don't know how to just answer it. I always have to
here's the easy strategy.
Okay.
Denny, doesn't matter what I think.
But we're not in role play.
I get it, but I'm giving you the mindset on how to look at this moving forward in perpetuity. It doesn't matter what you think. So now, Denny, ask her again. What do you think it should be listed at?
I'm asking you agent to agent. All right. The seller doesn't care. What do you think it should be positioned at?
Well, my strategy that has been proven so far is instead of pricing it where you want it to land, you would price it to drive more buyers in and let them compete against each other because you want to sell your home, not the neighbor's home, right? So if we list it at 1.9 or right at the 2, and then we hopefully drive more of an auction effect and get multiple offers to drive it up.
Okay, so that is a strategy. Do you realize that strategy, what that entails? You're asking them to jump out of an airplane without a parachute and tell them, don't worry, you'll find one on the way down. Do you realize that?
I'm not sure.
Do you understand?
I know that that's what worked for me on other listings.
So why wouldn't you price it at $1 million?
It's 2 million.
1 million.
Why would I price it at 1? Because
why wouldn't you? If that strategy holds, you price it low and get it bid up. Why wouldn't you price it at $1 million?
Sure. If you price it too low, then you leave a poor perception in the buyers' minds to think what's wrong with the home.
So if you were selling a $100 bill for $50, people wouldn't buy it?
Well, of course they would buy a $100 bill.
See, what we're talking about is the way the market works, the physics. And you have a mold. Your mold is around, and I don't know, Matt, I'd say probably 75 or 80% of the agents go down your path.
Yes.
Right.
And your path will work on probably every listing you take. But of the 10 people who will list, there's 2 of them that won't buy that pill.
Right.
And it sounds like you might be walking into one of those because they're already not happy with somebody else's number.
Right.
Right.
So, all right. So now, if you don't mind staying a little bit longer, if you find benefit in this, you guys put your thumbs up or something, because this is the better way listing. here's our point, and this is the number one thing I'm passionate about. So forgive me for I'm not letting anybody talk right now. I got to get this out or I'll explode. Is that top market value is not known until you expose it to the market. There's no question your strategy is good. Price it low and create activity and auction effect or whatever, and it will be bid up. The question is, will it be bid up to top market value? Maybe, maybe not. I don't really think, Matt, that even can be put in a test tube and tested. However, 2 out of 10 sellers are not going to want to do that. So what do you do with them? You either have to do an arm wrestle contest or walk away from the listing. The third way is, now I want you to role play with me. You are the seller. Okay. You want 2.5. Now I'm going to go back to Matt. Matt said exactly the way I would say it. And you said it too. The market range, you're asking me where I would put it. Well, what I think doesn't matter, but let me just share with you. And here's the word you say to the wife, that the data suggests homes like this over the last 6 months has sold between 1.8 and 2.2. Based on that information, this is almost word for word, Matt and I are singing from the same hymnal. Where would you like to initially position? And you say what? 2.5.
I won for 2.2.
No, you don't. You went 2.5. 2.2 is a laydown. You're in the range. Where's the fight? I want you to say 2.5.
Right.
No, say it. 2.5. Honey, we want 2.5.
Yeah, we went 2.5. I put 200,000 just into the kitchen.
It shows. Believe me, it shows. So let me ask you the question. If we agreed today to position your number at 2.5, are you ready to move forward with me to put your home on the market?
Yes.
That could be one of the answers, or it could be no, or whatever. But if they say yes, this is the way I roll, knuckle bump. I'm willing to put it on at 2.5 for one reason. I'll ask you, and ask everybody else here. Matt's heard this 100 times. His eyes are glazed over. Can you tell me with 100% certainty that they can't get 2.5 or something bigger or larger than 2.2 to 2.5? Can you say it cannot happen?
Nope. It could happen.
Is it their home? Do they have a right to position it where they want to?
Absolutely.
So I'm going to say, great, if they're ready to hire me, I'm ready to move forward with them with the knuckle bump. And now I'm going to go into the same conversation you would have before the commitment. Okay, that's great. There's 3 things that can happen. What are you going to do if the market says no to that?
Right.
So, Matt.
Sometimes we put it in the contract. We'll definitely.
No. You're not going to do that anymore. You're not going to do that anymore.
Don't want to.
You don't do a price improvement.
No, and I'll take Denny's momentum right here. Because you can't dictate the speed, velocity, and quantity of what those positions need to be.
So you don't educate them on, if you don't see this many. I'm in the DC area, and we typically.
So Denny has one of 3 things. Denny has the 3 outcomes. I do have some numbers I put on it that have been statistically proven. But let's not focus on the tree. Let's focus on the forest. The fact is, you don't write in pre-prescribed. Trisha, I say this with love, and I pray this never happens to you or anybody you know. You have a serious ailment. You are sick, and you are going to die right now. And I'm going to give you this pill. And if that pill doesn't work, in 2 weeks, I'm going to give you this pill. And if that pill doesn't work, in 4 weeks, I'm going to give you this pill. How can I pre-prescribe these things to you? I can't, can I?
Right.
Because we don't know how you're going to react or respond to the pill.
So
we don't know how the market's going to respond to the 2.5. So all those stats you heard, get rid of them. They're not even based on anything recent.
You don't
educate the client over the trends.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, trends. But what's the trend? What's the trend?
Okay.
What trend?
I should still be prepared to educate them. I mean, this is. This
Right.
is where this is where historically these other homes were priced here, and guess what? They sat for 4 months and dropped 35,000 or 100,000. Do you want that,
Mhm.
or do you want to
all
price
right.
it here and drive it up?
Mhm.
Well, no, but all right. I would tear that apart.
Okay.
You're not proving anything by doing that. That's like days on the market. They say, well, days on the market. And I know people in DC believe this. I got a good guy in Alexandria, and and he said days on the market really affect the sales price of the home. I say bullshit. Does not. And the way they're figuring it out, they're going from the original list price to the sales price, and it was on the market. Well, here's the thing is that it was too high to begin with, but if they
Right.
would have listed it higher than what you suggested, but lower than that, it could have sold in the same time frame, I mean, in
Mhm.
a shorter period of time. So
Gotcha.
there's no way to test tube this. But the issue is this, going to Matt's medical analogy, if you walked into a doctor and he said, I've got to cut your arm off because you have a rash on your fingernail.
Mm.
What if you said, no, I don't want that aggressive of treatment? Can we try a little Bengay?
Yeah. Can we can we start by taking the fingernail off?
So
Gotcha.
if you want a less aggressive treatment, do you have that right to ask for that?
Right. And here's the point that I was speaking to, Trisha, and I'm glad all of you are here to hear this, because I work a little bit different than Denny. However, we kind of sing from the same book of the Bible. So the reason you're not pre-prescribing price reductions is what happens if you put it on the market at 2.5, Trisha, and that wackadoo buyer from some town you've never heard of in Kazakhstan comes over and says, I'll buy it for 2.5. And you were saying it's not going to work. We're going to write in these pre-prescribed price reductions. How likely are you to keep them as a client in the future?
Right.
Even if it sells?
Or what if it sold at 2.35 and you said, no, we should be at 2.2 max?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't COVID teach us anything?
Mm-hmm. But that's why you don't write in the pre-prescribed price reductions, because you don't know how much time is going to pass before you're going to need to do one, and you don't know how much it's going to be. The last thing I'll say about this, in Denny's area, in my area, it's one of the strongest buyers markets we've seen since 04 through 08. Strongest buyers markets. Depending on where you position a property, if you pre-prescribe these price reductions, like if they way overpriced it and you pre-prescribed a $10,000 price reduction, you might need to do a 50 when you first reduce the price. It might be that far off. But if you're just doing pre-prescribed, well, we'll do 10 every couple of weeks, you'll never get to the right price.
And in a falling market, you're losing value. And this is for everybody too, is that and I thought maybe you're going to quote this, Trisha, is that I've heard it so many times. If you haven't had X number of showings in X number of days, then you're X% too high. Bull-loney. One size does not fit all.
Now, I do say that based on statistics, a property should receive at least 2 showings a week. However, I don't talk about percentages too high. We don't know what that is.
But I push back on that is because there's some luxury properties, we're talking about one, in some areas that are outliers, you don't get as many showings on those that you get in bread and butter type markets, segments. So that's why I don't. Here's the thing, guys. What I'm teaching, and I can say we are teaching with a little bit of variation. He putts with a long putter, I putt with a short putter, is that I want you to be right 100% of the time. The only way you can be right 100% of the time, and I agree with Trisha, you work with what's knowable, past, present trends. And you know what? If they want to start higher and you go and knuckle bump and you say, here are the 3 outcomes, what are you going to do if the market says no? What's our strategy? You want to get to Akron for whatever reason, God knows, but you want to get to Akron by, September. At some point in time, they have to capitulate to taking the right pill. I want to be the agent when they're ready to take it.
Because ultimately, what we're saying here, Trisha, and I think I can see you, like the light bulbs have been firing for a little bit.
Yeah.
Ultimately, we've talked about this before on here. Setting no expectation is actually setting an expectation. Where most realtors fail is they say, well, price it at whatever you want, and then set no expectation. Denny's saying the opposite. We figure out what they want to position it at. Great. Now let's talk about what's going to happen. Then you set the expectation. But setting the expectation isn't, if we don't have this number of showings, then we need to reduce the price this much in this amount of time. It's one of these three things is going to happen. Denny, you want to give her, because this is your baby.
Yeah, Tricia, I know that I want to come on. I'm passionate about this because I want you to be right 10 out of 10 times. Your philosophy is solid 8 out of 10 times. I want you to help get the other 2. That other agent that walked away not knowing why they lost the listing may have been able to have it. I don't know. There seemed to be more than one thing besides price. You look likable enough, so you won't lose it because of your likability or your capabilities. But why would we want to go in there and go toe to toe, lapel to lapel, and lose the listing because we're arguing over a future event that cannot be determined until you expose it to the market?
And
Right.
as long as they're willing to do, I've said it before. Actually, I coined this quote on here. The market always speaks. It's a question of whether we want to listen. So let the market do the talking, and then you don't have to be the person that's beating them up. It's the market's talking.
So if anybody here does not have the 3 outcome sheet, if you give me a second, I'll pull it up. You can take a picture of the screenshot. There's a QR code on it. Give me a second. And you can call me. I'm happy to walk you through this one-on-one, Tricia, if you want. If you have any interest, if this is not your cup of tea, I'm not attached to the outcome.
I am, because I want everybody on here to get to people that need our help. I want you to get all of those listings. Now, if they're unrealistic, they're smoking sweet and low and hopium at the same time, which hopium is the deadliest drug in the world. And then no, I want you to walk away from those. But people that have a modicum of need to sell and are willing to do what the market's going to say they need to do, even if they want to experiment for a little bit, like this might be who you're talking about, Tricia, I want you to land all of those.
There, and you guys be able to see that.
Yep.
There are the 3 outcomes. There are no more outcomes. And then when you go over this at the listing, low to no showing, show no offers, or it sells, there are no more outcomes. We can do a future, maybe next week or whatever. The other part of this, and we've had to get better at this very quickly in Florida because we've been in a buyer market now for 2 years, is after you get the listing at 2.5 and it's not selling, now you have to work on the conversations to the weekly conversations or every other week conversations to get these guys into reality.
Mm-hmm.
And there is an art to that.
Yes.
And we have a strategy that works. And so I know we're running out of time now, but Tricia, my email is coachdannygrimes@gmail. I think Jose put your number in the chat or whatever. Happy to have a conversation. We want you guys, every one of you guys on here, we want you to win at the table 10 out of 10 times. And that means you're taking the 10 listings you want to take. Now, there's some people you don't want to take the listing on, but the only ones you lose are the ones you don't want to play on.
Yep. We want you to win 10 out of 10 times when it makes sense.
Now, you may never win 10 out of 10. It may be aspirational, but I can tell you this, you guys, you will be right 10 out of 10 times.
Yep.
So anything, I know we got a little bit
tangential
on this, and maybe a little passionate. You guys learn anything today?
Yes, Denny, I have a question real quick. I was wondering on one of the Fridays.
Talking to me? Are you talking to me?
Yes.
Denny actually has a fan this week.
Wow. No one ever asked me anything. Oh, what is it?
Okay. I was wondering if you all would be so gracious. On one of the Fridays, would you all be open to one of the coaches doing their complete listing presentation from top to bottom?
As long as it's not recorded.
Okay.
Well, here's my thought on that. I don't know if it'd help you.
Yeah, that's why I don't want it to be recorded, because then it gets put out and then people are just like, well, let me rip this off and duplicate it. I don't care if people do it. It's just not going to work for you.
Well, here on top of that is that you're asking me as the golfer, I've got to go play the Masters. I've got 18 holes. Would you please run through your shots on the 18 holes?
Right. You don't know what they're going to be.
I can tell you what my drive is on the first hole. After that, I have to play my lie.
Right.
So we can talk about our strategy, but you understand, once we go off, it's kind of like playing pool. Once you break the balls, I don't know where they're going to be, so I don't know what my next shot's going to be. So
Yep.
we could go through a scenario, but the probability you'd ever have that scenario is almost zero.
Yeah, it's just like playing hide and seek at a kid's birthday party. Every listing appointment is like hide and seek, and you're the seeker, and your clients are all the hiders. They're going to hide in 1,000 different spots. You've just got to figure out how to find them. So we can talk. Yes, we can absolutely talk about the macro level strategy, but I would be a little resistant to going over exactly what I say in my appointments, because it's never the same. I have the template of, here's some things I touch if I need to, but there have been appointments. Case in point, I went and met with this lady in downtown Sarasota at her condo. And this, Denny knows about this one because he talked about agents following me around and taking my scraps. And I said, yeah, there's one that does it. He took a listing, it failed to sell again, and now I took it at the right at the right price. Well, I went and sat down with her. What questions do you have before we get started? None. Awesome. Here's the listing agreement. That was the appointment.
So to answer your question, Michelle, we can go through the mechanics of our swing metaphorically.
Yep.
And then here's the other thing, you guys, is that when you're meeting with a buyer, you can predict the 3, 4, or 5 most common objections they may have. When you're with a seller, you can predict the 3, 4, 5 objections they're going to have, and we cannot be knocked off. We are king of the hill when we're at a presentation. There's nothing they can say that can knock us off our game. Just like a golfer, I use this metaphor during recon. I mean, how does a golfer know so many shots? There's so many variables. They just know the basics of like 4 shots, and when you're working with a rational client, if you're working with somebody irrational, you're going to get irrational stuff that makes no sense. But guess what? That kind of falls out of my box that I'm going to work with.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's funny. I because even though I coach and mentor a lot of agents across the country, and people kind of have giving me the moniker of, like, I'm the script king, right? The conversation king. But I've said this before. I've gone to other people that are close to me that have just I think maybe even gone to Denny sometimes. After I have a conversation with an agent or a consumer, buyer, seller, and I'm like, have I lost a step? Like, am I going crazy? And it's because they're just nonsensical. Either the realtor, the buyer, the seller, it didn't make sense. And so you'll know those scenarios where you're like, man, this just doesn't compute, let them go. But to Denny's point, most buyers and sellers that are sensical fall into very tightly knit buckets. And using the approaches that Denny and I do, you can't get derailed. And if you are, it's because you chose, like, this isn't for me.
So yeah, I am in an analogy machine. And like Matt had said, if you're interested in coaching, I do offer coaching. Matt and I were kind of talking about something. I'm not really sure what we're going to do yet, but I know he mentors and coaches or whatever. But the interesting thing, guys, if you like this and you should be looking at coaching, because you guys are already paying for a coach if you don't have one, and lost opportunity.
Yeah, you're paying thousands and thousands and thousands and you're paying much more than you would for an actual coach. And I'm not saying that this is Denny's thing, guys. Don't come to me for coaching off of here. This is Denny's thing. I'm always going to plug you back into Denny. But guys, for the love of Christ, I've paid more dummy tax in my career than most agents will ever experience because I've taken more at bats. So if you don't have somebody in your corner that's mentoring you through the punches, you're paying for a coach, and 100 times over. Avoid the dummy tax. A smart man learns from his own mistakes. A brilliant man learns from the mistakes of others. That's all I'll say.
You guys have an awesome day. I think today is Friday. I think somewhere.
Friday somewhere.
Mohammed, what?
Unmute yourself.
Sorry. Okay. I know you guys gotta go. Hey, I have Coach Danny. I've sent you an email. I didn't get any response on that at all.
That's because he checks his emails the second Thursday of every week.
I have 9,000 emails. Mohammed, I didn't open it because you were in a tank top. Okay.
All right, no problem. That I can't disagree on that.
Thanks for changing your shirt. Matt's on a tank top most of the time too. I was about ready to get out after him. Say, look, can we add a little class to this, please?
I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna be. What's his name? Who's the shark? Before we go, Kevin O'Leary. Kevin O'Leary. He is famous for wearing a suit and tie from the waist, the waist up. So from now on, I'll have my swim trunks on, suit and tie from the waist up.
Muhammad,
guys, I'm in my office, okay? You guys got the wrong
Denny put his
impression.
number in the chat.
I did
Okay,
put
let me
my
copy
number
that
in
real
there.
quick.
Yeah.
You can text me. And I was going to say one more thing. Mohammed, good luck on that listing. If you get a listing, it's 30% referral fee to the 100 people or the 35 people on this call.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
No problem. I know a good kebab place. Let's make it happen.
All right.
See you
Hey,
guys.
See ya.